you can tell, I'm not from here. I actually moved here 3 years ago. I used to live in Chicago. And for those of you who were secretly happy that I wasn't going to talk like that the entire time, don't worry, that doesn't make you racist. That just means you hate chinks. So, all right, I'd like to do an impression for you guys. This is my impression of somebody in Chicago who hears somebody talking about Milwaukee. Oh, Milwaukee, I've been there. It's a fantastic city. I would totally love to come up and visit you for a weekend. So you can imagine my surprise when I moved here. I went out, I had a Cubs hat on, I was going to a bar to watch a Brewers game. And so the bartender comes up to me and he's like, "They'll be $12. And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "You want to root for Chicago? You pay Chicago prices." So let me just level with you guys for a second. It does not cross their mind at all down there that you guys up here hate them. They have no clue what a fib is, honestly. Honestly, that was a fun education when I moved up here. Thank you. Thank you. I honestly should have known what I was getting myself into, though. I did have a friend up here that I came to visit before I actually moved here. And to prove some sort of drinking point, they got me so fucked up. I thought I made up Cedarburg in my mind before I actually moved here. I was like, "Guys, there's this place down there, and it has an ice cream shop right next to a candy shop, and I was eating pickled mushrooms out of brandy." And they're like, "Oh, Lisan, those places only exist in John Candy movies. What are you talking about?" So... Milwaukee is a fantastic town to live in. Festival season is coming up, which is always fantastic for me because I love seeing how many ways white people can make potatoes. Speaking of all things white, I actually used to live in Salt Lake City, Utah as well. And so the area, one person for Salt Lake, the area of Wisconsin that I moved to initially was so white, I called all my friends, I'm like, "Dude, I found a place whiter than Utah." Which of course isn't true, it's just that you keep your black people over here, your Latinos down there. There's only like 3 of me. I'm not Hmong, so there's no room for me in that Gran Torino, so. I currently live in River West, which is a much more diverse neighborhood. But I want to have a conversation with you guys for a second. Let's talk about gentrification. In Chicago, they do the normal prick-ass thing when they want to gentrify a neighborhood. They'll put up $1 million condos, put in a couple baby gaps, bam, neighborhood gentrified. What did you guys try to do in River West? Like, try to take over the neighborhood with love and tolerance? We're coming to take over your neighborhood one microbrewery and co-op at a time. There is one thing that you guys are very homogenous on, of course, which is your love for the Green Bay Packers. Yes, you guys are fucking crazy. You're like Raiders fans without the violence. I, of course, am a Bears fan, so yes, thank you. But all I can say is football season's rough for me. I feel like Charlie Bucket standing in the candy shop window watching you guys winning. And so I tell my friends, it's like, "Have you ever been to Chicago and watched a Bears game with Bears fans?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, it's like our fucking Hunger Games, all right? We're in our own district watching our tributes get slaughtered. Cutler gets sacked. He does the Mockingjay whistle for his offensive line. Tillman calls for peppers. Oh, wait. You're welcome, Packers fans. Don't get me started on that shit. It makes me madder than Solange in an elevator." And finally, I just would like to say, I love living in Wisconsin. You guys are great. You're the only people I would know that would tailgate a Walmart opening, and I just really want to join you.